Good morning, Trina.
Morning, Jim.
How are you this morning? Good
I'm doing
morning,
well.
Charlie.
It's starting to get cold here, so
Is it?
yes,
Oh,
California standards.
yeah, well, I remember that. We lived in Miami for a number of years, and when we finally came back to the Midwest, the first summer back, my wife wore a heavy sweater all summer long, just trying to get reacclimated.
Yeah, I bet. So Jim, I forwarded the link to Daniel just so he could listen in, but I'm going
Okay,
to do most of the talking.
okay, that's fine. That's fantastic.
So,
So,
yeah, good job on the network. There's like 68 people now.
is there really? That's fantastic. I'm
Yeah.
glad to see it growing. I'm hoping that we can make this into a really big thing and
Mhm.
help a lot of people and help make a lot of generational wealth because that's kind of the passion that I have. I really excited to try to help as many people reach their goals as possible.
Mhm. And what is it I wanted to say? Oh, so for today, I know I set up a 1 hour meeting. The goal is really to strategize how to talk to brokers, and if we have time, maybe we could do a sample call.
Sure, that's
That
that
is crazy.
I yeah, I don't know how we would that's kind of off the cuff. We could try to figure it out.
Okay, maybe
Um,
let's do an email instead, or
well, no, I actually I kind of like the idea. I just it took me by surprise, but I kind of like the idea. So um, we may set that up and do it
okay,
because let's just wait and see how this call goes and how much
yeah,
time we have between
mhm,
this and my next call,
okay,
and see if we can make how soon we can make that happen. So I want to make sure that this is your time. You guys get to speak first. Start with anything that you have on your mind, anything that you want to make sure that we cover today, and then get that all handled first.
okay. Well, it's so as you know, we're heading out to San Antonio this Saturday. So I
Okay.
wanted to strategize um, how to optimize that trip. You mentioned that I could approach property managers and brokers and look at properties.
Hmm.
My only concern there is not feeling super confident right now. I don't know what I can do to increase my confidence in a week or so to be able to
Yeah.
talk to
You know what? I think that we might be better on this trip. Just um, remind me again, Trina. You have family that lives there, or Daniel has family that lives
Yeah,
there.
Daniel has family.
Yes, I have family there.
Daniel. Okay. So Daniel, did you grow up there?
Yes.
Okay. So are you real familiar with all the different neighborhoods and
No,
or
we kept just certain ones only.
okay. So I think what I would do then this trip, since we're talking about a confidence issue, spend some time just driving around, trying to figure out where you do and do not want to invest in San Antonio, so that you have a better idea of what's driving those particular markets. And I'll also tell you that from an entry point standpoint. Oh, this is another great thing. So Trina, who else do you know so far that's investing in San Antonio? Have you met some other people?
Um,
What about
Either
Abel?
through
yeah,
Abel?
so Jim, one thing, I met Abel, but I was very green then. I didn't know what I was talking about. So maybe and this is the thing too that's kind of very discouraging at times when networking with very experienced people. They're more wanting to have you as an LP.
Yes. Don't worry
It
about
almost
that. Just
yeah.
just listen to them talk. Okay.
Okay.
Pretend you've got all the money in the world that you want to invest, realizing that the best place for you to put that money. I'm gonna this is gonna be a little caveat. Okay. Most of the time I would tell you, if you want to own your own place and that's your intent, save your money and put it in your deal. Now there are
Exactly.
people though that will never want to. I'm this is a lot of work. It's not necessarily easy work, but there is no easy work in life, right? Everything
Yeah.
you have to work for, it takes effort. So if you want to own, then save your money and put it in your deal. But there's going to be people who never want to own. They're very, very happy doing what they're doing every day. For instance, Daniel might not ever want to leave engineering. And if that's the case, being an LP might be perfect for him. Okay. And he doesn't ever have to worry about finding a deal or talking to brokers or talking to PMs and running the business. And, just it, because it's a constant thing. But if that is something that you guys want to do or you want to do, and Daniel wants to pursue his other, then he can he can be an LP on your deal instead of on somebody else's deal. Okay.
Exactly.
So I don't want to try to say that you can't be an LP. And listening to other people who are trying to get you to be LPs, you can still learn a lot from them. So here's
Yeah.
a great thing to do. Anytime they want you to be an LP, say, well, then send me the deal. Send me all your
Oh,
underwriting, send me, your pitch deck, and then you upload that into the program and everybody gets to benefit from it. Okay.
okay.
And by doing that, you will start to get a deeper understanding of how everything works. And
Mhm.
you'll start to see where you fit in and the pieces that you want to make your own or be good at, and the pieces that you see that you don't want to have anything to do with, and so you find somebody else who's good at that. And so on this trip, I think that I was going to suggest you might want to reach out to some of the people you've already met. So
Okay.
drive some neighborhoods and maybe just try to network with some people. I know some of the groups are having in-person meetups in Texas. If you feel
Oh,
comfortable doing that and you want to go to an in-person meetup,
okay.
that's great. Go ahead and do that. And you don't need to be there. Even if you are still bashful
Mhm.
and feel a little intimidated, you can't mess up there. As long as they think you have money, and trust me, they're all going to think you have money whether you do or not, just because you're from California and you have
Oh.
engineer attached to your name. So don't open your mouth and dissuade them from that
Okay.
reality that's in their mind. Allow that to be there because it
Okay.
will open some doors for you. Okay. You'll get a lot of people talking to you. So just let that be, kind of the thing that allows you to be in that conversation,
Mhm.
and just, work on being a little more into a conversation. Just, hey, even if it's something as, I'm brand new at this, and I'm down here. I like this market. We have family here,
Mhm.
and we're just trying to network. So we'd love to hear about what you're doing and why you're doing it and why do you want to do it. So
Mhm.
just by starting to have those general conversations, it's going to help you with everything. It'll help you with lingo,
Okay.
the insider industry terms, and just getting comfortable speaking real estate. And that'll help you the first time you get on a call with a PM or a broker. So, and even if you don't want to do it in person, when you're down there,
Mhm.
you can still do virtual meetups while you're down there. But just do anything that'll help you on your daily path. So don't
Okay.
feel pressure that you have to reach out to brokers or that you have to go to a virtual meetup. These are all just things I'm throwing out as suggestions, things you could do. If you don't do anything more than just what you've, so far, you've started getting on the platform, you're starting to upload. So you're one of the leaders right off the bat.
Okay. Good to
Okay.
know.
There's not too many people participating yet. There's a lot of people sitting back, really hesitating, bashful, not getting in there and starting to actually do the work that's going to help them accelerate their careers. So you've taken action, you've gotten a LinkedIn profile, you've gotten some deals and stuff, information uploaded onto the platform. So even if that's what your daily goals are, okay, just
Mhm.
keep doing something every day. Do something, and if you need a break, and this is vacation time, then don't feel bad about this is vacation time. Jim, I'm off grid for the next week. I'm not doing anything, but visiting family. Okay, because that's important. But if there is things that you want to keep making daily progress on, then I just want to make sure that you know what those options are. Okay. So we need to get established in your mind what your daily goal is. Okay. So if your daily goal was to call brokers, and you're not comfortable yet doing that, then we need a new daily goal, which is come up with a pitch. Okay. When you call them, come up with a script. And then, okay, now you've got the script, but you're still not comfortable to use it. So let's practice it a couple of times. You and I can practice between each other. Okay.
Okay.
Then we can practice on maybe on a call, where you're just listening in. Okay.
Okay.
And then we can practice on a call where I'm just listening in. Okay. And won't say anything, but I can then, when you hang up, can help you critique the call and say, okay, this is where I think you did really well. And this is where I think some things you missed that you might want to try to put into the next call. And we can just take it, break it down into bite-sized pieces until it's something that you can accomplish every day.
Okay.
Right.
So where should I start now, Jim? So should I start learning how to underwrite or start reaching out to brokers or
Well,
figure out?
until you, there's going to be deals that you can practice underwrite. You don't have to have a one-to-one call with a broker to
Okay.
underwrite deals, because as you know, you can go online and get the OM and T12 and rent rolls and upload those into the folder and then start learning to underwrite. Okay.
Okay.
And so those are, what I'm going to tell you is it's not linear. You can jump around. You can learn different pieces at different times, and there's going to be days where you're practicing underwriting and you're just disgusted with it. You can't see another spreadsheet. You can't poke another number, and you just don't want to. You got to have something different to do today, and so you decide, okay, I'm going to practice my broker calls today. Okay.
Okay.
And so you don't have to do A, B, C. You can do A, D, B, Z, whatever you want to do. But there is going to be some linear pieces. So you can't automatically write an LOI until you've learned, some other things. But that doesn't stop you from looking at LOIs if your curiosity, takes you there. I would encourage you, start looking at all of the folders so that they will guide you in some of the other stuff that you're doing. So if for instance, that you're looking at, um, there's a folder that I have, how to win a deal. The only thing that's in there right now is a seller's questionnaire. Okay. That seller wants to know about you as the buyer. So you may read that, and that triggers something about underwriting that you hadn't thought about. So when you go back into your practicing on underwriting, you're going to pay a lot more attention to that piece, because that's something sellers want to know. And
Okay.
you know that because your curiosity led you to open a different folder. So just keep digging around, stay
Okay.
engaged, just make sure you're taking a step every day. And let's figure out what those daily steps are. And that's my goal for today's call, and every call is figure out what is your daily goal. Okay.
Okay.
And if we haven't figured that out yet, then we need to get a daily goal, because we can't measure your progress daily if we don't have a goal. And we can't understand if that is a reasonable daily goal. Like we talked about before, you may have on your daily goal to call 5 brokers, and Charlie just decides
Mm.
that no, the maximum is 2. Okay. And so we have to first establish a goal and then see if it's realistic. And if it's not, then we adjust and pivot and make the goal realistic. And when we get down to where we have a good realistic daily goal, then we can start working toward the bigger picture,
Okay.
and that is eventually get to the point where, okay, you've learned underwriting, you've learned to talk to the brokers, you've learned to talk to the PM, you've started establishing a team.
Mhm.
Okay. You have boots on the ground. You've got a lot of deals in the folder to look at. There's other partners in the folder now. And when you talk to somebody that's interested in San Antonio, And if they're on the platform and they haven't put their name in the thing yet, and they aren't helping you build out the folder, then poke them and say, hey, aren't you going to help me with I thought you were interested in San Antonio. How come you haven't put your name in the San Antonio folder yet? How come you haven't uploaded anything? I've already started uploading some deals. Can you upload some PMs? Put some property managers and just, make sure you're not doing all the work. Okay. Get those interested parties to help you. The whole idea here is for us not to have to do this by ourselves and from the ground up each and every time. I want you to come in and stand on the shoulders of somebody who's already done some work. Okay. So that you can accelerate, you can jump past a lot of the building blocks. Okay. So you might be learning underwriting and be in the very first week on the platform. Somebody might come in with a deal that's already under contract. And guess what? You might be able to jump on that deal just because you're already in that folder and you're associated with other people in the San Antonio marketplace. Okay.
Same time, I would hesitate to jump in on that without fully understanding the underwriting, at least from like a
absolutely
standpoint.
Daniel. I'm just saying that your opportunities might not be where your understanding is at the time. Because you're there, you may have a lot of opportunities to accelerate where you are, and you may or may not be comfortable going there. I'm just saying by being there and participating, you're going to learn a lot more, and you don't have to learn everything starting at 1. You might be able to jump in at 10, but only when you're comfortable. So you have the opportunity right now, as Trina has the opportunity. Today, I can put together a script for her to start calling 15 brokers. But if she's not comfortable yet, then that opportunity is there, but she doesn't have to take it just because it's there. She may need to take baby steps to get there. Okay. And like you, same thing, I don't hesitate to say, whoa, pump the brakes a little bit. I'm not comfortable yet. Let's slow down. Convince me. Okay. And just take it at your speed. Just because you hear me say you have the opportunity doesn't mean you have to take the opportunity.
Okay. Good to know. I think the source of a lot of the lack of confidence is not so much like lack of confidence per se. It's more just unfamiliarity with the lingo and not having an understanding or not having our own underwriting model. Not to say that we need to reinvent the wheel, but at least for me, it helps to build something from scratch while still drawing from the existing models that you uploaded to the Google Drive.
So to get really comfortable with underwriting, Daniel, here's my suggestion. Number 1 is just start putting deals into whichever underwriting. The reason I've uploaded a bunch is for 2 reasons. Number 1, people are going to go in there and have different levels of comfort in a spreadsheet. And one that's a Wall Street financial model with 17 different tabs and 1,000 different input cells is going to intimidate a lot of people. And so I want there to be different ones that you can draw on and say, yeah, this one, I get it a little bit. Let me start there. Okay. So I want you to start where you're comfortable. And then some people like you may say, you know what, I want to know X, Y, and Z, and I don't see that covered in any of these models. So I'm just going to take pieces of all of them and build my own. Okay. That is where I want this platform to take all of us eventually. Our collective brain power makes everything in there better till we get to a point where we have the single best underwriting model that anyone on Wall Street would beg us to buy it from us because it's better than what they're using. Okay. And collectively we can do that. And I would also say that if underwriting is not something that you are already comfortable with, use Justin Keevel's YouTube channel. Start listening. That's a free resource. And start listening to some of his philosophies on underwriting. He's a Wall Street guy. Okay. He comes from Wall Street financial modeling. And then he's got Udemy courses that if you haven't checked out his Udemy courses, they're like $10 to $15 a piece. And you can go through literally a master's degree in finance for underwriting on Wall Street just by taking his courses.
Do you
and
like
come away
his
from
underwriting philosophy better than Fairless's?
I think that he's way ahead of Fairless in
Okay.
regard to I think Joe's expertise is in marketing. Yes, he's a Wall
Oh,
Street
okay.
guy, but
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
expertise is in marketing. His
Yeah.
expertise is not in financial modeling.
I see.
And Justin's in financial modeling. Now, if you want something other than Justin, there's also, and I don't know if I have it uploaded yet, but there's a website called Adventures and CRE. Adventures and
Okay.
CRE. Okay, where
Okay.
Justin's is called Breaking into CRE. So if you can just
Okay.
remember it's an adventure, you can go look at theirs. I think that their underwriting models are very, very similar to Justin's. But if you want the
Okay.
model already built out, I think I already have that uploaded into the file as one of them. But
Yes, I saw that.
to get their certification, you can use the model without the certification. But if you want to get them to teach you how to use their model, I think they charge like $1,500 or $2,500. You know,
Okay.
but that's a Wall Street firm that's using this model to attract private capital on Wall Street.
Okay.
So I would say that's a pretty good starting point if you're confident in that model. Okay.
Do you use his or do you use your own?
I use whichever model you're using that you bring to me in your deal.
Oh, I mean, for your deals that you do?
I generally don't underwrite deals.
Okay.
Okay, so generally I am helping other people underwrite a deal. In other words, I can underwrite. I'm horribly slow, and
Okay.
I am not a Excel spreadsheet guy. So copy and pasting into other sales sometimes uh, is a challenge, let's just say. But I understand every aspect of underwriting, and I can explain probably just about every piece of it to you. Even though you might have much better understanding of the math, you might have a much better understanding of the formula. But I have an overall great understanding of underwriting and how it's used and the pieces that can affect an underwriting model.
Okay. Okay. I gotcha.
And so generally, that's why I say if I need a deal underwritten that I want to personally buy, then for me, I would probably have someone else that wants to be part of my deal or wants to learn, put all of that stuff into the model, and then I'll just work with the model after they've input all the data.
I see. Okay. And do you prefer or so do you recommend Justin's because that's the one you've tended to see people go with?
No, I've recently started suggesting Justin's because I want us as a platform to eventually settle on what we think is the best tool to use.
Okay.
And I want to promote that as the tool that I prefer, only because I think we're going to try to aggregate all the best pieces from all the different ones and eventually build a great model. But I also understand that we're never going to be at a point where everybody's comfortable with that model. So I'm going to never take down the models. I'll always leave them up.
Okay.
So if you're at a different level of comfort or understanding, then you can always have other models to choose from. But I do think that people like Justin and Adventures in CRE, the financial modeling that's aimed at Wall Street and aimed at private capital and family office, hedge funds, and REITs, I think we will all eventually wind up there. But there's going to be some people that will never get comfortable with the numbers and they'll never reach a level of understanding to use a sophisticated model.
Do you suggest we start out by like plugging and chugging on his model first, or like starting out like trying to build our own from scratch based on his model?
I would not try to build anything from scratch because I think that unless you have an advanced degree in financial modeling, then I think leave that up to somebody else who's already done it. Like I wouldn't advise Justin to go out and try to recreate an Excel spreadsheet that you might use in your area of expertise in engineering,
Mm,
I would
okay.
advise him just to use yours. And if
Okay.
there's a question that he wants answered that's not answered in your model, I'd probably tell him to collaborate with you to create it. Okay. Or
Okay.
at the very least, just add on to what you've already created. Don't reinvent the wheel. The same thing. I
Okay.
don't want you to have to go through I don't want you to have to step on every rung of the ladder. I want you, if
Mm,
you've got a real strong Excel base and understanding, then you can probably jump to his model. If you find out, no, that's too much, then just back down to a different model, okay, until you
mm,
find a model you are comfortable with. And then don't try to build on it.
okay.
When you feel like this model's too simple, look at the other model again. Now, you're going to find that
Okay.
a lot of people on the platform are from Michael Blank's program, and they're comfortable in Michael Blank's underwriting. And there's a lot of people that
Okay.
have copied Michael Blank's Excel spreadsheet, the syndicated deal analyzer, but Michael copied his from other people that had more advanced understanding of underwriting than he did. So
Okay.
he's changed his a lot over the last 2 years. And every time he finds somebody that has a better understanding of financial modeling, he tries to, update his a little bit and add on. So I just want to take that to the next level. Michael does that in personal interactions like you and I are having. I want to crowdsource that knowledge so that if we get 5 or 6 people on the platform that have finance degrees and understanding of financial modeling, which we already have at least 3. So you're going to, as you get to know everybody, if this is a great question to put out on the platform, guys, I want to start getting into the financial modeling and really interested. Start a poll, put a poll on Slack. Okay. Go to the poll thing and say, which of these deal analyzers that are on the platform do you prefer? And always make other an option so they can put whichever, if there's one that they don't already have on the platform, then they can add that and we can start to see where everybody's comfort level is. Okay. So here,
Okay.
that's a great idea to use the crowd to help you find the model that you're most comfortable with, or where you're
Okay.
saying the only reason you're asking me which one I use is you're looking for a little more expertise advice on, let me not step through every single one of them. Okay. Let me just jump to the best one if I can. If I'm comfortable in the very best one, let me just jump there, right? So we
Yes.
can accomplish that with a poll, and not only does it answer your question, but I'm sure that if you've got that question, a lot of other people have the same question. And so by having the poll, we can answer it for everybody and we can start to move forward. Instead of taking us 2 years to come up with a great financial model that we all want to use, I thought it would take me that long to build this platform. And it's really within a couple of months, I'm probably as far as I expected to be in 6 to 8 or 10 months. So we might be able to
Okay. Well,
accelerate. And I've done that only because I have used everyone to help me get this started. Okay. So we might be able
yes.
to accelerate this underwriting piece the same way. And that I want to do
Okay.
that with every piece. So the reason I am trying to put together a step-by-step process is I want everyone to build that folder for San Antonio so that the next person that comes in doesn't have to start at the bottom. Okay. And we can crowdsource every piece, whether it's uh, getting a list of deals, whether it's getting a list of brokers, whether it's learning to speak to them, whether it's learning underwriting, whether it's
Mhm.
figuring out how to get capital. We're going to use our collective knowledge to get to the top of that pile as quickly as possible and the shortest path as possible.
Okay. Makes sense.
Okay, Trina, what's next?
Okay, so Jim, what I have been doing the last few days is, as you have recommended, is to talk to people, or no, I mean post something every day, and I've been trying to do that on LinkedIn and Facebook. And so far, I've gotten some responses from friends. A couple of them actually were interested in investing, maybe 2 of them. So that's really good.
Well, that is good. Now, have you started your database of investors?
No, not yet.
Okay,
So
so let's get a database of investors, and the very first thing you need is name, obviously. Second, email address and cell phone number. Okay, so those 3 fields need to be on the form. Okay, create a spreadsheet, and then the next thing is do we'll reorder this as we get better at it, but you want to know, are they an investor, yes or no? Okay, at this point, are they ready to invest, yes or no? Okay, and so you've already got some yeses. Okay, and then the second after that is to know how much do they want to invest and how soon do they want to invest and what types of investment do they want to make. Are they interested in multifamily, or are they primarily interested in a different asset class? Because you know that my platform is primarily multifamily, but it's going to grow way beyond multifamily. So if you already have 5 investors and they all want to invest in self-storage, then
okay.
guess what we're going to do? We're going to pivot real fast and you're going to be self-storage.
Okay.
Okay, because that's what your investors want to put money in your pocket for. Go ahead, Daniel.
Also, speaking of which, we kind of made a website and came up with a company name, but I mean, if you say that branching off into self-storage is an option, I wonder if our company name is too specific, because we were going to call it Habitation Capital, but would that be too specific to actually like living?
I don't think so. And actually, I like the name. But just because I chose Jerome Enterprises for some personal reasons.
Okay.
But it's basically based around the number 3. But
Okay.
I wanted it to be generic enough. I had a lot of people tell me, look, from a marketing standpoint, it doesn't do anything for you. At least your name does something, because by having the name habitation in it, it implies certain things. Mine, people have no idea, so,
Okay.
but I think the asset class that I think over in the big overall overarching um, commercial asset class space, I think multifamily sits on the top of the heap. I think it always
Good point.
has, and it always will. That
Yes.
and
Okay.
just because your website might say habitation or something in it, you know, self storage fits into that. It's habitation
Okay.
for
Yeah.
your stuff.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
And so you can have this little side piece. If everybody decides they're going to be self storage before you launch your multifamily, then it's habitation for your stuff, as part of your website. Um,
Okay.
but don't let that. It's better to have to change later on. It's best the fact that you've already taken action and started creating a website. Okay, that's what I'm more interested in. That's the kind of
Okay.
action, that I want to see. Whether it's right or wrong to me is not important. It's taking action that's important, because you're going to get
Okay.
there. And don't worry about whether it's right or wrong, because we can always make corrections. And I'd rather that it be, honestly, I'm happy when it's wrong, because every day you need to make mistakes. Every day you need to fail, because if you don't, you're not on the path to success. You There's no way you're going to go from 1 to 10, without having failures. You've got to fail 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 before you can get to success at 10. You've got to do it. So
Okay.
the just taking action. If you have to rebrand completely in a year, that's okay, because at least you can take everybody in your database and explain to them why you're rebranding, okay, and migrate them to your new platform, okay. But you don't have to explain to any of the new people coming on board. So there's nothing wrong with that, and it's better to have that problem. Man, I've got 1,000 people that know me as this. That's a good problem to have. as opposed
Yeah.
to, I waited because I wasn't sure what we're going to do and I have nobody on the platform yet. Okay. So,
Makes sense.
okay. But I'm
Yeah.
just saying, in that database, you're going to need to know a lot of things, but just at first, just start getting it, the simple stuff: name, phone number, email address. If they were already interested, because you want to know, are they an investor? Yes or no? Because if somebody already invests in, say, the stock market or gold or treasury notes or something, then at least they have an investor mindset. Okay. And so then once you find out, are they an investor? Yes or no? What do they invest in? And if they say, well, I buy apartments, man, that's already boom. You're 80% of the way there, because they're an investor. They like the asset class you're already in. Okay. Then the next thing you want to know, if they say yes to that, is where do you like to invest? Oh, well, we really like Texas. Man, I'm 3 for 3.
Mm.
Okay. But
Okay.
of course, that's not going to be the way it goes. There's going to be, most people are not going to be investors, but that doesn't mean they don't belong in your database. Okay. Because the only thing we cannot replace is time. So if you spent even 1 minute talking to someone, don't let that 1 minute go to waste. Come away from that conversation, find a way to always bring what's important in your life into the conversation. Okay. Which is right now building generational wealth for you and your family. So, and the vehicle for that right now is real estate, and it's apartment investing. Okay. So just come away, if you can, with at least a name and a phone number. And we can practice that. If you don't know how to bring it up into casual conversation, let's just start practicing. How do you have this conversation? How do you bump into somebody in line at the grocery store and turn that into a conversation about real estate? Okay. And we can, it'd be great for anybody who doesn't know how to do that, for us all to get on a giant meetup call and just start practicing. We'll go into breakout rooms and we'll start practicing. Matter of fact, we should create a breakout room. Trina, is anybody else make up in the Slack channel or on a Facebook post? If you really want to broaden this, or both. Is anyone else out there new to the game and is an introvert and is outside their comfort zone and starting to make these kind of broker calls or property management calls or calls on sellers or owners? And if we can get a few people that feel the same way, because I'm an introvert. I'm sure it probably doesn't seem like that, but
No, it doesn't.
I am a big time introvert. Okay. And,
Okay.
and I can tell you, though, I've spent 40 years trying to be an extrovert when it comes to my business. Okay. And that's something we can all learn to do. We can all practice. And we can do it in a group setting, and we can have a Zoom call, just practicing how to get outside our comfort zone and break down into rooms of one-on-one, or maybe 2 or 3 or 4. And we can let one person be a broker, or and one be, and just practice interviewing each other. If that's more comfortable than doing it with an actual broker, we can start there. And when we're doing it with other people that are trying to do what we're trying to do, we're not only adding value for ourselves, we're adding value for them. And I would encourage you to do the same thing with your underwriting. So if you find somebody else that you want to practice underwriting with, find somebody who has a similar mindset or is at the same place you are in underwriting. And if, get on a Zoom call, and we'll let one person be the typist and share their screen and put the screen up and start putting in the numbers, and another person can take the OM and read it off to them and say, okay, here, put this in cell 1, 2, 3, and 4, and practice it with somebody. Maximize your time, and you'll find that you start building relationships really, really fast by involving other people. And when you're involving other people inside the group, that's somebody else who probably is like, you know what, I want to invest with Trina and her deal because I know her, and I know how she learned to do this, and so I trust her. And vice versa. You know, and you're going to find somebody, Daniel, that one of these guys that's got the finance degree, and you start seeing, you're practicing underwriting with him, and you're like, wow, suddenly I don't have to be great at this because I know so-and-so is great at this and is better than me. So, if he brings me a deal and he's underwritten the deal, all of a sudden I'm a lot more comfortable. So
Okay, I see what you're saying.
take advantage, figure out ways to keep leveraging the platform, leverage the collective knowledge. Okay.
Okay.
And I think, especially since we're locked down, Zoom calls are a great way to do that. So,
Okay.
excuse me just a second here.
Sure.
I apologize. Let me just, okay, that didn't work. That's a large deal that I'm working on. I've got a just under a $40 million deal I'm trying to help put together in Little Rock. And this
Really?
was
Holy cow.
somebody that is interested and wants to talk, but my days are um, pretty full. And
Who is that on Little Rock? Is it Kobe Bowers? Jim?
hold on just one second.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Kobe Bowers.
He works with Rod Cleef. I know he's done some deals in Arkansas.
Okay. I know the name, but it's not,
Okay.
I'm not putting two and two together right now. So I can't,
Okay.
my mind is not putting a face to the name, and it
Okay.
definitely did not put Little Rock to that name. So no, he's not involved on this deal. At least if he is, it's in a very silent way that I don't know about in the background. Which is entirely possible. A lot of times on these really big deals, there's a lot of people in the shadows that don't want to be known or seen, and but if he's active in Rod Cleef's circles, then I wouldn't imagine he's too bashful, and I would probably already know. But if he's interested in the Little Rock area, and is interested in and has the ability to get on a deal this size, then I would, love to talk to him.
Okay.
So, but I don't want to take your time to talk about that deal because this is your time. So,
Thanks, Jim.
where were we?
Let's draft. I want two things. Let's have a script for bringing up real estate in a casual conversation, and another script for talking to brokers.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. Then let's see, where are we on time? Let me look at my calendar here.
11:50. I don't know. Maybe we should just choose one. And between the two, let's do
Okay, so all right, I've got time. So let's just do a quick practice. So right now, I want you to record your screen.
Okay.
And I've got to remember where I turn that on for you because it's going to ask for permission.
Yeah. The thing is, I'm using my phone, so I'm not
that's
sure.
not working. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Are you using your phone also, Daniel?
No, I'm using my computer, but
Can you record and take that home, or is it a work computer and you can't do that?
it's a work computer, but I don't see why I couldn't record. Let me see.
All right. You see where the record button is on the bottom?
Yes, it says please ask the host.
Okay, so let me see if it's going to allow to record. Okay. All right, you should be able to hit record now. And up in the upper left-hand corner, it should tell you if you're recording.
Yes. Can you see my screen now?
I don't see your screen. I only see mine.
Share screen. Oh, it says host disabled participant screen sharing.
It's fine.
Yeah, so we don't need screen sharing. All I need is for you to record the call, so that,
Oh,
and
record the
it'll
call. Okay.
right. So it'll upload for you a video and also an audio track. So then you can take the audio track and download that and just listen to that if you want, or you can watch the video. Okay, either one
Okay,
is
it looks
fine.
like it is recording.
Okay,
It says, yeah.
and then Trina, this is absolutely fantastic because we can upload something like this and start a file on the platform for other people to watch, and we don't have to recreate this over and over and over again. Okay, so again, there you are adding value to the platform. So if we do, what do you want to do first? Casual conversation, or you want to do a broker call?
Casual conversation, because I'm very awkward and I sound very salesy and pushy.
Okay, so I'm off the cuff. So we'll just pretend you're in line getting coffee. Okay. And so the very first thing to do, if you're an introvert especially, is just learn to interrupt them from their nonchalantness and just say hello. Say, hi, my name is Trina. It's a beautiful day, or man, I'm jonesing for this cup of coffee, or have you been to this coffee shop before? Do you like it? Just anything to start the casual conversation. You don't say, hi, I'm Trina, I invest in real estate. Okay. So obviously you've got to find a way to build up to that. Okay. And the way you build up to that is by doing it very indirectly, by being creating casual conversation that allows them to talk. Okay. Say, are you from the neighborhood? Is this your regular coffee stop? Okay. Anything that gives you an opening. Hey, I love your purse. Where did you get it? Those are beautiful shoes. Anything that girls talk about. Okay.
I do that all the time, Jim.
Well, there you go. So you already have a natural thing, and that's the best thing to use is whatever you naturally already do that's comfortable for you. And then you use that to transition very slowly, okay, into a conversation about real estate. So for example, if you're talking about the purse, then and it's an expensive purse, then you might transition into, I love to collect purses, and one of the ways I do that, and I'm going to go very quickly here, and you don't necessarily want to go this quickly, but just to give you an idea of how you might transition is, I love to invest in purses, and it's an expensive habit, and my husband lets me do it, but only because I don't use any of our money. What do you mean you don't use any of your money? Yeah, he only lets me buy a purse with extra money that I generate outside of the regular family income. Well, how do you do that? Well, we invest in real estate. And so I invest in real estate, and that gives me my side hustle money, my pocket money, so that I can go out and buy all the purses I want, or allows me to, we practice a very rigid budget, and I love my Starbucks, and he won't let me pay $4 for a cup of coffee unless I get the money somewhere else. And so my real estate investing lets me do that. Or you start talking about travel, and you say, we love to travel, and we get to travel basically for free. Well, how do you travel for free? Well, one of the ways is we started a business so that we could write off all of our travel expenses. Okay. Well, how do you do that? And so anything that you can do that you take things that everybody likes to talk about, things that everybody wants to do anyway, and you always envelop that in a story that brings you back to investing and in real estate. Okay.
Okay.
So, um, I mean, I'm trying to think if you want to have uh, so Trina, um, your baby's gorgeous. We'll just practice a session. The baby's gorgeous. So what's her name?
Oh, it's Charlie.
It's Charlie.
Yeah,
It's
How
a
did you
he,
come up?
actually.
Oh, it's a he. Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't. It's so cute. I thought it must be a girl. So Charlie. I thought Charlie's a neat name for a girl, but it's a normal
It's
name
true.
for a boy. So how old is Charlie?
He's 8 months old.
He's 8 months old. That's fantastic. Are you a stay-at-home mom?
Yes, I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I also do real estate on the side.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, so have you always been in real estate?
No, I'm just starting to learn about it. I just figured now is a good time to start investing because interest rates are low
Okay.
and
So
also with,
for me, that's too fast. Okay.
oh,
Too fast and too strong. Okay.
okay,
So I would lead into it, say, no, I'm a stay-at-home mom, recent stay-at-home mom,
okay,
but I used to be an engineer. Okay.
okay.
I used to be an engineer or I used to be a chemical engineer. I'd be even more specific. Um, and so like this coffee that we're about to buy, um, I would be paid to break down the chemical components of the coffee to find out why they work so well together and taste so delicious that we were willing to pay $5 a piece to buy one. Just something that's a lot easier, and take your time to get there. Realize where you are. If you're in a moment where the line is you're next in line, you're only going to have 30 seconds. Okay. Then you might not get anything more than just a name. Okay. But if you get that name, at least try to find out, is this your regular stop? So at least if you only get the name, you have a good chance of coming back on that same day at that same time and seeing them again. Okay. So if that's a regular thing for you, instead of getting coffee at the drive-through, I would always try to get it in line. Okay, so that you can talk to somebody and have an opportunity to speak to someone. Um, and because you got to be there anyway. And if you're sitting in line 5 cars back, who are you going to talk to? How are you going to talk about real estate? You're in your car. So just go inside. Okay.
Mhm.
And just, if you've got a long enough wait, then you slowly, you want to, what would you say to that person if it's somebody that you really felt a strong connection to, and you really, for whatever reason, you really wanted to make friends with them? Okay. You would find little things to talk about, to bring up, you talk about the baby, talk about their hair, talk about their clothes, talk about the weather, talk about the coffee, anything that you can, so that you just get to know them a little bit better. And the main thing that you want to get from this is not to sell them real estate. The main thing you want to get is their name. Okay. So that's pretty easy. But if you're like me, it's really hard to remember names. Okay. I have a real hard time remembering names. And so I just get the name and start using it over and over right away. Okay. And so that when I know your name is Trina, I want to keep using your name, Trina. Okay. And then maybe by the time we get up to the front, we've had a conversation about Charlie and, about babies and about being a stay-at-home mom and about our other careers, and say, Trina, I've really enjoyed our conversation today. I really feel a connection. I'd love to stay in touch with you. I feel like you're somebody I'd love to be friends with. And if you feel the same way, I'd love to give you my phone number. Okay. Don't ask for theirs, because people will feel intimidated. Okay. So I'd love to give you my phone number, and,
That's smart.
do you come by here very often? I'd love to, you know, sit and have coffee with you one morning, if this is your regular coffee stop. Okay. So now you have the opportunity, number one, to put their name into your phone. Okay. And when you give them your number, okay, say, let me text it to you. Don't ask for their number. Say, let me text it to you, so that you can build yourself a little V card. You know what a V card is? Do you use iPhone or Android?
Android.
Okay.
Android, but yes, we know what I know.
V card is. Okay. So you create a little V card
Yes.
with your name on it. Here's a little subtle selling point. You make sure that in your V card, it talks about your website. Okay. So now you don't even have to talk about real estate. Okay. So you're going to give that to them when you give them your V card. Okay. And you may not have to talk about it. They may ask you, oh, I see you're in real estate. There's your opening. Okay. But
clever.
and by asking to give them your phone number and say, let me text you my V card, so you have all my information. Okay. And you don't want it to just say Trina, phone number, blah, blah, blah. You want it to say Trina, phone number, email address, website about real estate, and a bio, a brief bio. Okay. A very brief bio that says who you are, where you came from in life, your education, your just what you would tell somebody if I said, all right, tell me who Trina is so that I want to talk to her again tomorrow. Okay. Tell me everything about you that I might want to know that would interest me so that I will call you and want to be your friend. Okay. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm an engineer. I went to school at X. Okay. And my passion, and this is the best way to talk about real estate. Don't say you can say I invest in real estate as a side hustle, or as I'm looking to transition into real estate as an investor for passive income and generational wealth. You don't ever want it to sound like you're trying to sell something. You want it to sound like, man, that's something I would love to do. Passive income, side hustle. Everybody wants an extra stream of income. Okay. Everybody wants passive income if they even understand what it is. Everybody wants generational wealth if they understand what it is. Okay. And so a lot of times those things will present themselves generically. Okay. But if they don't, that's okay too, because once they accept your friendship, then you can start talking about things that you'll find 1,000 different ways to bring it back to real estate. Okay. So as an example, Trina, and I'm the real estate person. You're the person in the coffee line I want to speak to. We've met. I know your name. I know Charlie's name. I know you're an engineer. And so because I want to bring it back to real estate, I'm going to ask you, Trina, do you guys own your own home or do you guys rent?
We rent.
You rent? And
Yes.
do you want to own, or you guys just like renting because you feel like you get a lot more for your money, a lot more amenities?
We like to rent because we don't want to have the hassle of taking care of the house, and we want to put our money to work into
So you guys live out in California. I know we only met virtually, but I live where rents are like $800 a month. How much does it cost you out there in California? I heard super.
2,000.
2,000.
This is for a two bedroom.
$2,000 a month for a 2-bedroom. Wow. Wow. I can't even imagine that. What would you
We're
do?
2 miles from the beach though, Jim.
Oh, well, that makes a big difference. That makes a big difference. But man, what I could do with $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
If I had, that's $24,000 a year. I could buy a whole building for that.
Oh,
I could buy an
really?
apartment building that would generate $2,000 a month for me in income, passive income. Man. Okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry. I got off on a tangent there. I was thinking about something else. So have you guys ever considered that you could live rent free?
We thought about it. Buying a duplex and renting out the other side. Is that what you're?
Well, I've heard of that. I've heard of that. I never did that, but I have acquaintances and people that I've met that's what they do. They buy a duplex and they rent out one side. I heard in California, one of the easiest ways to do that is Airbnb the other side. If you live in a really, like you guys live so close to the beach, it might be a really strong Airbnb market. And sometimes you can get twice the monthly income out of Airbnb as you can from just a regular rental. So that's one way. And pausing the conversation, that is one way, by the way, for you guys to live rent free, is to find a duplex, a triplex, or a quad, or even a 10 unit. And we can talk about that if you want, about how to invest in your local market and free up $2,000 a month of your capital.
Okay.
And that's something we probably should talk about, because that's $2,000 a month that you could be putting towards your own business.
That's a good point.
Okay. So that's kind of the gist. Are you getting a little bit of the gist about how to bring this into conversation?
Yes. I need one,
Yes.
Jim, but let's I know we're past time now. I'll set another call, Jim, and then let's have that, like how to start talking to people about real estate.
Okay. All right. So we can do that and set it up and make sure and put in the comments what you want to do so that
Okay.
I at least have a little forethought before we jump on the call.
Okay.
I'm
Thank
going
you.
to stop the recording now.
Okay. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Thank you so much, Jim,
Not a problem.
for everything.
Okay.
Yes.
It's a great call, guys. And Trina, stay on that platform. Keep staying involved. And the one thing I wanted to get out of today's call was to ask you, have you gotten a daily goal? Do you know what your daily goal is?
Yes. So my daily goal is to post updates on LinkedIn and my Facebook profile, just to start basically telling people or changing my
Okay.
building
All right.
credibility.
Okay, good enough. And make sure and tag me in those posts so that I make sure and comment and try to help you boost your post. Okay.
Okay.
And Taylor should do the same thing. So right
Okay.
now, you and Taylor are the only ones that have signed up. So I'm going to do everything I can to help the people who are helping themselves. So
Okay.
you guys tag each other, and I'll tag you, and we'll continue to stay involved like that. Okay. So
Yeah,
did
Jim,
you?
I tried following you so I could post on your comments on LinkedIn, but it's not possible. I don't know why.
What?
So
Well, you and I are already connected on LinkedIn, so you can't
yeah.
follow me because if we're connected, you're already following me.
Oh, okay, got it.
So yeah, so anybody can post on anybody's post or comment on any post. So you don't need to be connected to comment on any post. Okay, just make the comment. Okay.
Okay.
So, okay. So
Yeah.
I don't need to ask you if you had a success yesterday because I know you already posted. So you already had a success.
Yes.
You already reached a daily goal. So you're taking action. That's fantastic. And I apologize for keeping you because I can tell Charlie's got an agenda. He's got
No, it's
something that
fine.
he wants. So I'll let you and him get back to what you need. So, all right.
Okay.
Thanks so much,
Great
Jim.
call.
for your
Thank you,
time.
Daniel. Appreciate you making time. So thanks,
We'll
guys.
talk to you later
Bye,
then.
Charlie.
Bye.
Bye, Charlie.
Bye.
Charlie. Bye, Charlie. All right, guys. I'll see you.
Okay. Bye now.
Bye.